Hey, what's up, Internet? Thank you for stopping by the channel. Today we are going to talk about pentatonic scales, and we're going to talk specifically about what makes them so versatile. The short version of that is that they are so versatile because you can use them as a shorthand for a whole bunch of other scales. We're going to dive into it a little bit, talk about what scales those are, and why you can use the pentatonic scale as a shorthand for them. First, let's look at our A minor pentatonic scale. This is a shape most of you are probably pretty familiar with. It's a shape that a whole lot of guitar players rely on, myself included. I was stuck in this box for a really, really long time, but I mean, it sounds good, so it's okay if you're still stuck in this box. But we're gonna look at why it sounds so good. So, looking at our intervals here, we have a 1, our root note, a minor third, a perfect fourth, perfect fifth, a flat 7, and then we're back up to our octave. So that's our 5-note scale. It's a comfortable pattern. It sounds really good. So don't be afraid to use that. It's definitely not my point here. But there are a whole bunch of other scales that are kind of based off this. For instance, the blues scale is essentially that same exact pattern plus one other note, and that's a flattened fifth. Okay, so we take our 5-note pentatonic scale and we add in one extra note. And we have the blues scale. Now, really, like the blues scale and the minor pentatonic scale, in my experience, are pretty much used interchangeably, because you can throw in that blues note for just a second, and it's going to usually sound pretty good. And if you're playing blues, the minor pentatonic scale is obviously going to sound good because all of those notes in that scale are also in the blues scale. There are also 3 minor modes. Okay, we have the Aeolian mode, the Dorian mode, and the Phrygian mode. So there are 7 modes total. 3 of them we're going to classify as minor modes, and we're going to take a look now at how they relate to the minor scale. So let's look at the Aeolian scale. The Aeolian mode is the minor pentatonic, but it adds 2 notes. It adds a major second and a flattened sixth. But you can notice, we can impose that minor pentatonic shape over the Aeolian mode, and every note in that minor pentatonic shape is going to be in the Aeolian mode. We can do the same thing with the Dorian mode. Okay, the Dorian mode is the minor pentatonic scale with a major second and a major sixth added in, and it sounds like this. That's our Dorian mode. So we can superimpose, again, our minor pentatonic scale over that shape and see that every note in our minor pentatonic scale is going to show up in our Dorian mode. So the Phrygian mode is a minor pentatonic with a flattened second and a flattened sixth. So we take this and turn it into this. Okay, so again, we can superimpose the minor pentatonic scale over any 3 of our minor modes in the same key, and we're going to get, in each of those instances, we're going to get the minor pentatonic scale plus 2 extra notes. We can also superimpose our minor pentatonic scale over a blues scale, and we're going to get a minor pentatonic scale plus 1 extra note in that instance. So basically what that means is, if you are in a jam setting, for example, and you guys are jamming and you kind of know that you're playing in a minor key, but you're not sure what mode you're playing in, go to your, find your tonal center, whatever the chord progression is resolving to. Let's say it's an A, and then it doesn't matter if it's Aeolian mode, Phrygian mode, or Dorian mode that you're playing in. All those are going to have a unique sound, but you can play a minor pentatonic scale over any of those, and as long as you're playing in the right key, it's going to sound just fine over any of those. Another thing that makes that really useful is because so many of us stick in this box and stick to the pentatonic scale. We have these like rote memorization little licks and fills that we know, and that are in the minor pentatonic scale, and we can break those out in a modal context, and they're still going to sound good. So really, that's another big part of why the minor pentatonic scale is so versatile. We can also do the same thing with the major pentatonic scale. Our major pentatonic scale is made up of a root, a second, a major third, a perfect fifth, a perfect sixth, and then we're back to our octave. Okay. We also have 3 major modes, 7 modes total. 3 of them we classify as major. And again, for each of our major modes, we could superimpose our major pentatonic scale over each of them individually, and all of those are going to have our major pentatonic scale built into that mode. So the Ionian mode, which is actually just the major scale, you might be familiar with this. It's our major pentatonic plus a perfect fourth and a major seventh. And you can hear it has a little bit different flavor. Like those 2 notes, they're not just superfluous. Like they do change the color of the scale. They really change the flavor of the scale. But you can stick to just that major pentatonic scale, and it's still going to sound just fine. We can do the same thing with the Lydian mode. So the Lydian mode is the major pentatonic with a raised fourth and a major seventh. So it's only 1 note different from the Ionian mode, but we're going to have, again, our major pentatonic built into it, and it's going to sound like this. Okay. We can do the same thing with the Mixolydian mode. Mixolydian mode is our major pentatonic with a perfect fourth and a minor seventh. But again, if we're playing in a context where we know that we're playing in a major mode, but we don't know which one, we can't figure it out on the fly, we can just stick to our major pentatonic. As long as we're in the same key, we're using the same root note, it's going to sound just fine. There's one more cool trick that I want to show you guys, where you can actually use the pentatonic scale to play modally. And I'm going to show you exactly to do that. So let's say that we're playing a chord progression. I will say, like, to utilize this, it's most helpful. You can do it with just using one position of the major scale or the pentatonic scale. It's easier if you know multiple positions of the pentatonic scales. There are 5 of them, 5 positions. But so let's say, for example, that we're playing a chord progression that's an A minor, a D minor, and an E minor. So our root notes are here, here, and here. Okay? So let's say that over the A minor chord, we stick to our A minor pentatonic. Just use the first position of our A minor pentatonic. And then it switches the chord progression to a D minor. Well, then we can switch to a D minor pentatonic scale. And for right now, I'm going to use position 4 of the D minor pentatonic. Okay, and that's going to sound like this. Okay, so our root note is here, and we're using that shape of the 4th position of our major, or 4th position of our minor pentatonic. Now let's say that our chord progression switches to an E minor. Well, we're going to take, we're going to play an E minor pentatonic there, and we're going to play in the 3rd position of our pentatonic scale with our root note right here. Okay, and that's going to be our E minor pentatonic. So in that chord progression, we have an A minor, a D minor, and an E minor. Okay, and if we play a corresponding minor pentatonic scale over each of those chords, we're actually going to be playing in the Aeolian mode, because we can take those 3 shapes that we used, superimpose them on top of each other, and then we see that the pattern that we get there is actually the Aeolian mode. So that's a neat little trick that you can also do. Really, minor pentatonic is probably the most versatile scale that I've ever come across. You can just use it in so many musical contexts, and it's going to sound good. You know, whether you're a bass player, guitar player, you know, any type of musician, really, that's something I'd recommend knowing well, because you can rely on it a lot. If you'd like to know more about either the pentatonic scale or modes, check out some of my other theory videos. I think you'll like them. If you like this video, give it a like, please, and then definitely subscribe, because there will be more where this came from. Thank you. Peace.